consistent when it comes to business. So sometimes business people go, yeah, I had this thing, I started this thing, and then I just stopped. They went for a month or two or a few months, and they just stopped. So the next business that we're highlighting here is called Beachy Pal, beachypal.com. Full disclosure, this is another one of our family members, and she has been doing this forever. Her name is Michelle Stephanie, and she's in Tennessee. And the thing I love about this is that one of her products, and hopefully I'll be able to find it, is she makes a wonderful sea moss. I don't know how she does it. Sea moss is a natural thing. And so she makes the sea moss and she packages it and she sells it. And sea moss has so many wonderful benefits for you as a person. And I take it every single morning with my beverage. And I tell you, it makes me feel great. It helps with my digestion. I know it promotes weight loss. And this is overall, one thing I did read is that it has more protein in it than if you had chicken or if you had like that kind of meat. Sea moss does it. And so you can see her from her website. She sells a variety of things. She is just so amazing. And she is unbelievably persistent. She's been doing this for years and she don't care. Like when she started out, she's like any other business. Some businesses go, yeah, well, no one liked my post or something, so I'm gonna stop. She don't care. she is keeping growing. And this business, as you can tell, has so many things on it. And I love the fact that she really exemplifies what it means to be a strong Black business.
Yep. And I'll say something about Michelle. And the thing is, her father, who is also an entrepreneur, is probably how can I put it? He's like the role model of all of us, right? Yeah. And he had a lot of nephews and nieces. So if you know Jamaica, you have nephews and nieces that are like your real nephew and niece, and then you have the cousin nephew and nieces, and then you have like the not really cousin nephew and nieces. You like the people that are just like they know the family and they be like, yeah, I'm the nephew and the niece. And I've had arguments with some of those people like, yeah, you ain't really a nephew and niece. What are you talking about? Where does your lineage attach, right? Yeah, Uncle Russell, successful business for 40 plus years in Long Island. And I think he's really the catalyst for helping Michelle sculpt this being that she is. That's just like, we gonna do it. And I don't need an employer. No one's gonna tell me how I'm gonna do this because we're gonna figure out a way, right? She's gonna figure out logistics. She's gonna figure out every little piece of the pot and needs to be put together to make things happen, which is awesome. And as far as Beachy Pal products, I bought a shea butter with turmeric mix because I had a really bad fall off my bike, and I wanted to, get the healing to happen. And if you can't tell, there's still a little scar that's left, but I haven't been sticking to using this thing all the time. But initially when that cut happened, it looked like I fell off of a bike. I mean, like it was a really, really bad rash. You would have thought that my arm was never going to come back. And this was only, like a month and a half ago. And it's worked wonders.
Yeah. And yeah, to say more about Uncle Russell, I remember years ago, he had a Jamaican bakery in Long Island. And I would go there and I would say to myself, man, he is such an example of like someone who didn't care about anything else. He treated his employees well. He had that bakery for decades, and he was just to the point where he would sell them beyond the bakery. He would sell Jamaican food to other restaurants and other places around. I think now that is phenomenal. And you're right about Michelle keeping that spirit alive, and that spirit has permeated us to a certain degree. So she has been amazing.
I always wish that I would have worked there so I could have learned how to make his bun because I can't find a bun that's like comparable, right? That can even barely match up to Uncle Russell's bun. And I'm like, oh man.
Man, you make me think about this. Where I'm at here, I can't recall getting a good bun. Period. I was gonna say some time frame, but as long as I've lived here, I don't remember I have to go to New York or somewhere in between to get a good bun.
I
And
mean, you could go to Jamaica.
well, I could do that. And my brother,
Jamaica's probably closer to New York, technically.
my, well, it is miles wise. My brother-in-law, he probably knows a good Jamaican restaurant to get that from.
Yeah.
He probably does. Um, so shout out to Beachy Pal. Thank you so much for all the stuff that you do. The next business I'm gonna share here is Marriotts New Theater in the Square. Uh, this is a brother who his name is Raul Thomas. He's from Puerto Rico. He is such a great person. When I was looking to get a show that I had written um, somewhere, I got a lot of discrimination, in my opinion, here in Atlanta, and it wasn't overt discrimination. It wasn't people saying, "Oh yeah, you're black, you can't have your show here," but they were saying things like, "Well, you need a writer for $5 million on insurance in order for you to have a stage reading in our location." That's an example of that kind of racism
Hmm.
that I encountered. It was real to me. At the time, I was just pushing through. I was like, nah, I'm gonna get my S going. I'm gonna get it out there. Somebody's gonna see it. I don't care if they like it or not. It's somewhere. And I came across Raul. I think I went to one of his shows that one of my actors were in, and then I met him and had this great conversation with him. And he's a New Yorker. He's from the Bronx. He's a fantastic chef. He's got a kitchen here also in Cobb County called Raul's Latin Kitchen. Award-winning chef, and he's got this phenomenal theater. And so when I came to him, I said, I got a reading and I want to do a show here. He was like, brother, when you want to do it? I was saying to myself, damn, why don't I get that kind of response anywhere else? And ever since then, he's and it's not just me. You can tell by the shows that happen at this theater, and it's in Cobb County in Georgia here, the Marriotts New Theater in the Square, that he's supporting all of us. He's supporting all of us. So if you got a show that you want to have out there, he's ready to do it. He'll do it for you. And you just don't get that everywhere. So I wanted to make sure that anyone who's out there listening to this now or in the future, please make sure that you go to theaterinthesquare.net. That's what you see up here that we're showing. It's a phenomenal place. They got a great Motown review that always packs the house. And he's just a great person to be around. He just really is. So Marriott New Theater Square. Any comments?
I'll just say, I met Raul and he's a wonderful guy. And I met him, when I came to assist with the show, with filming and whatever else I had to do to help out to make sure that the show was a success, which it was, grand success. Yeah, the place is great. You can tell that he's created an atmosphere that is friendly to everyone, right? To the patrons, to the employees, to the people that are having productions there, and that's what's critical, right? And when we look at small businesses and we wonder how do small businesses thrive, how do the little guys stay relevant? A big part of how little guys stay relevant is by being that, right? By having that relationship that they can create with the patrons and the people that are around that make you feel like this is a special place, right? Because it becomes a special place if they feel like it's a special place. Right?
That's right. So thank you so much, Raul and the Marriott New Theater in the Square for all that you do for all of us. So before we had our conversation here today, I had a chance to talk to the people at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. And full disclosure, I'm a member of the advisory board of that group. And it's been around for 10 years. And this kind of piggyback off the conversation we just had with the New Theater in the Square. It's been tough to find venues for black theater professionals. It just is. I was on a call about 9 months ago that a friend invited me to. And some people might find this a little bit intense. And in the midst of the pandemic, the federal government had allotted a certain amount of money for theater professionals because they know that art helps people when they're going through things. And it got to the city, and then the city doled it out. But the city doled it out to one institution, and I won't name them here because I don't feel like dealing with a lawsuit. But they doled it out to one institution, and that institution was not an institution of color. And that institution had the responsibility of doling out to any other theater or event that they wanted to. So they got a chance to choose it, who they were going to send it out to. Long story short, if you're listening to me, you can probably fill in the blanks about what happened with that money and where it got to and where it didn't get to. And so the Atlanta Black Theater Festival has been a home for 10 years for Black theater artists all over the world. Last year, we had an event in pandemic where we actually invited people from other parts of the world, including Ghana, to come in and to actually have their performances done all virtually. And then this December, after the Atlanta Black Theater Festival in October, in December, everyone in the festival is going to get up and going to go to Ghana and actually perform in Ghana in the theme of Beyond Borders. That is, to me, that exemplifies what Juneteenth means.
Yes.
Like just really being able to take the message and the reason why we're free today or have a modicum of freedom and being able to expand it beyond what we do today. And it's been great to be part of that and to see this thrive and to see it flourish. At the same time, while there's others who are still being an impediment to our growth. So great stuff at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival.
That's so amazing. And as when I went to Ghana, uh, what a lot of the people there would say to me would be like Sankofa, right? And Sankofa is a whole idea that we return back to the soil from whence we came. So there's a depiction of it with uh, the goose with his head turned backwards. Um, and what's happening right now and what they're doing with the Atlanta Arts Black Festival and taking that journey back to Ghana. They will have open arms, and the people of Ghana are very gracious and love us. Um, and I want to go too. I don't know if I can, but I want to go. I got to figure out a way to make that happen.
I'm in the same place. I think that I would love to do it, and I think there was an allotment of a contingent of people to go, and by the time it happened or it was out there, it was tough. And even in my case with my medical scenario, it's a little bit difficult, but I'm still trying to find my way because I've never been. And if anyone of you remember, back in 2019, Ghana had the year of the return where they were asking African Americans to return.
Yep.
And they were giving us visas to go to Ghana. And they were making it easy if you wanted to buy a home or you wanted to start a business in Ghana. They were making it relatively easy to do so.
Yep.
What a beautiful thing that country is doing. I'm sure it's got its own issues just like the United States does. But to have that level of outreach to us, because here's the truth. There's between 40 and 50 million African Americans in the United States of America. The only other contingent of non-African or people that don't live in Africa that's bigger than us is in Brazil. And if we go back and the people in Brazil went back, my gosh, what would happen then?
Yeah.
With our economics, our knowledge and that we know? I'm not saying that we should do what they proposed back in the day where they went back and do to Liberia, but we should at least go back and have this threading between our two continents. We should definitely do that for sure.
It's interesting that you say that because a lot of times, even when I did the first trip back to Ghana, Daddy like, "What are you going there for?" And I'm like, because I prefer to go to Africa, to go somewhere in Africa, than to go anywhere else in the world. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's nice to go to the Caribbean, right? It's nice to go to Europe and see, their ancient history. But I want to go from where our people came from. And I've only been twice. There's a lot of countries still left on my list to go and visit, which makes it difficult to go and return to past places that you've gone, right? Um, I have one friend who actually probably should have been on our list, who's a photographer. He's an amazing photographer. And he actually just said, forget it one day. He said, forget it. I'm going to go travel. And then one summer, I can't remember the exact number, but it was like he went and visited over 60 countries.
Wow.
That is experience. And through his journey, he took pictures and came back and was able to sell some pictures.
That is awesome. So yeah, I know
Time.
we got on a little bit of a high horse on that, but that's okay, man, because that's how we feel.
Yep.
And so this one is here close by you in Brooklyn, and I've had a chance to be there on several occasions. It's down the street from, I think, where you are in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk a little bit about this one for us.
So Vine Brewing, they're just celebrating 10 years of their wine shop being open. And I remember this neighborhood really lacked dining and options to like hang out, even, wine shops and stuff like that. When I initially came to the neighborhood, I can't even remember, it was like 12, 13, maybe 14 years ago. And, they started out with this little tiny shop that sold wine, right? And these brothers, it's a partnership of like three guys. They had a vision, right? And their vision was that they wanted to bring flavors of wine that met the taste of the people that were around there. So, they constantly scoped the community, constantly had tastings for the community, and constantly tried to make sure that they were providing things that gave the community a different experience, right? So when they ventured off and they created Brew, which is right next door to the wine shop, which, prior to them being there was like a bakery, which was like it's like a French bakery. It was like this guy that was in there creating these like crazy French cakes or whatever. I don't know how he even stayed in business as long as he did, because he just had like, I got a birthday cake for one of my friends from there, and he didn't, because it was so Frenchy, he didn't write names and stuff on cakes or anything like that. But they took that space, and when they got a hold of that space, the craziest thing was that within like 2 weeks, they opened their doors.
Wow.
So it was like they went in there, they did this real quick breakdown, real quick construction. You saw them working overnight. Boom, they open up the first brewery that's not brewery, but brewery, like brew house in Bed-Stuy, like probably ever, right? And the only thing that they sold was beer and wine. And What beers did they sell? They didn't sell anything that the people in the neighborhood knew about. Everything. 10 beers on tap.
I've been there before. That stuff is great.
Yeah, 10 beers on tap. Always changing, what the beers are. And, you get people that come in because this is Bed-Stuy. They want a Heineken. They want a Corona. They want Hennessy, right? They're like, where's this stuff at? But when they taste the other stuff, they hear the music, they feel the vibe, they stay. Now, the thing that's really interesting about them is that it's a growth story, because they went from the small wine shop to a small brewery. They knocked out the wall where the wine shop was, because it was right next door, extended the brewery. They've moved across the street. The wine shop has moved across the street into a bigger location. So now they're not just selling wine at the wine shop. They sell wine. They sell liquor. It's a growth story, right? How do you come from small to large, right? You come and you pretty much bring what you can when you want to start out. It's called your what is it called again? The MCP, right? The not the most common multiple, but you bring your the minimum product that you can actually bring to the table, right? That you know will still work.
Right.
And then as you work through it, you continue to refine it, you refine it, you refine it, you keep improving it, you improve it, you improve it. You take the money that's coming in and you use that money for you to create your growth, right? Because as a business, what's the main thing, the main reason why businesses exist, or the main thing that they want to do is they want to grow. Just like how a little kid wants to grow and get bigger, the reason why businesses are created are because they want to get bigger. The reason why Amazon is still growing is because that's why it's created, right? Once you start growing as a business, you pinnacle, and the only thing that's left is for you to go down.
Yeah, I like what you said about the fact that they refine their products. Sometimes I know we've encountered where people come to us and they got like 15 things they're trying to do. And we're like, yo, be very clear on what your main key thing is and who your customers are to start off with, and refine that, make that real freaking dope, and then build on that instead of trying to do 15 at the same time.
Yep. Focus on the one.
Yeah, that is definitely the thing. I'm going to share one that is a kind of an Atlanta staple here. I think we did Mel already. No, let's do this. Let's talk about this one, because this one we recently had a chance to interact with. This one is a Jamaican restaurant out in Long Island. And the reason why I thought it was interesting to talk about it is that our parents celebrated their 54th anniversary recently. And we all got together, their kids and all that got together and said, you know what, wouldn't it be cool if we sent them some food from a Jamaican restaurant? And as opposed to having a night where they cook every night, because that's what they do. They cook every night. They cook 7 days a week.
Let's get it straight. Mommy cooks every night.
Well, 7 days a week. To one of the greatest gifts we ever gave her was a stove, because they cook a lot. And we said, what if we had to give her a night off? Wouldn't that be a cool anniversary gift? And she enjoyed it. She, from what I understand, that she loved the food and the fact that she had a night off, which, knowing our mother, is not really a night off. All she did was cook anyway and then put stuff aside for another day. The fact that she didn't have to was the theme of it. And I thought that was great to share. And the fact that there's Jamaican restaurants all over. We already talked about our uncle's bakery. They're all over. There's more in New York than they are in Atlanta, but there's still some good ones here. I thought we'd talk about this one, share this.
Yeah.
It's called Buns River Lounge, and it's in Rockville Center in Long Island, I think.
Yeah, Duns River Lounge is an interesting place. When we look at Rockville Center, and most people won't know Rockville Center, right? But there is a small little strip of bubbling businesses, right? Almost like a little downtown. In Duns River, they found a little place to be over there, right? It's right close to the train station. And what they do is that they try to have this night crowd come out. Long Island really lacks that, right? So they're capitalizing on a need that's there. And if you have good food to go along with a nice party, you can't beat that, right? So yeah, great great mission, great service that they provide, and giving people an option, being able to enjoy themselves, is really great.
Yeah, thanks for that. I think that we'll transition now to talk about some of our just personal friends and some of the businesses that they have. And it's so interesting to me because, from my perspective, almost every friend that I have or that I know has a business. So, like, almost everyone. So it doesn't matter whether they're working somewhere else through it in the day, like a 9 to 5, or they are working solely as an entrepreneur. I can't recall someone who does not have a business. And that includes a lot of artists and writers. They all got a business. This is like the best time to have one. This is what we put this whole show together to be around, or to be focused on. So we want you all to think about this. And for those of you that we can't, because we can't show everybody, but we'll show some of the people that we know of. And so the first one I think we will share today is,
Yeah.
so this is a good friend. She was recently on one of our other channels, podcast and TV show, and she is a military veteran that is based in Atlanta. I mean, in Los Angeles, and she's on the West Coast, and she is fantastic. She has served in the military for over 2 decades, and now she speaks to people about their own inspiration. And so Tamera Ward is phenomenal. David, I think you've heard her speak before.
Yeah.
She is just great. And so check her out. Her website is called CoachTameraward.com. And so go ahead and link in with Tamera. I've got so many of these great friends here. So any comments before we move on to our next person?
Yeah, I'll just say, yeah, I've heard Tamera speak, several times on your podcast, and it's just like, wow, I hear her talking like, wow, she's powerful. Her story is amazing, and her delivery is just great. I'm like, yo, can I book her to come and speak to my kids in school?